Hey, it's the Profit Answer Man, Rocky Lalvani. We have a mantra at Profit First. Profit is a habit. It's not an event. When you have amazing cash flow and profit, life is easy. And guess what? That's what I'm here to help you with. Let's face it, without cash flow, you can't pay your employees, buy needed materials, or pay your mortgage and support your family. I help you to do that and more so you can focus on the parts of business you love and receive the rewards for your labor and investment into your business. Just remember, more revenue doesn't equal more profit. That's why we focus on the bottom line. There are many businesses that are cyclical or have unpredictable cash flow. Some are obvious, like snow removal or landscaping, but others are not as obvious. If the majority of your sales and cash coming in are not relatively equal and predictable every month, you have a cyclical or unpredictable business. This requires more planning and forethought to get through the tougher months. Some businesses will rely on their line of credit, and that's one way to do it. The question is, do you have access to cheap capital, or are you paying a high interest rate to borrow money? Anything more than 3 or 4%, and it's eating your profit margins in a big way. Remember, we talked about how a 5% profit margin means you need $20 in sales for every dollar in spending. If you're paying more than 5% interest rates, over time that's coming straight out of your pocket, your profits. Imagine how much more cash flow you could have if you had no debt. For this to work, it's best to implement the system as you're going into a period of higher cash flow. This will ensure greater success than trying to do this in the midst of slow receivables. We will set up another bank account called Rainy Day Fund, and will allocate cash coming in above a certain dollar amount to this account. The hardest part is figuring out what the threshold is. In your business, you have fixed costs and variable costs. A fixed cost means no matter how much you sell, it doesn't change. That might be your rent, mortgage payment, your accounting fees, leases on equipment, the cost of your administrative assistant, or employees that you pay regardless of sales. Variable costs are the costs that change based on sales. This could be the cost of what you are selling or the materials you need to purchase in order to create the item that you're selling. Employees that work more during busy season and are paid hourly would be a variable cost. It could be energy costs beyond just keeping the lights on. For example, a landscaping company is going to be spending a lot of money on gas in the summer versus in the winter. You can ask your accountant or bookkeeper to figure this number out for you. That is their job. Remember, they work for you. You need to direct them and tell you what you need so that you can make better choices. Every business owner should know what the base monthly costs are to stay open. Next is your variable costs for the sales during the month, and that's usually expressed as a percentage. The gap between what you're getting paid in and what these two numbers are added together is the excess that you can start putting aside into your rainy day fund. What I have found is getting started is sometimes the most difficult part, but over time it becomes a well-oiled machine once we get it right. And if hiccups occur, it's an early warning signal that there's a problem. The biggest part is getting started, so let's do that. As this account builds up cash, it will help you to cover your base monthly costs in periods when the dollars coming in are not covering your base spending. The problem most business owners face is that they overcommit during times when cash is flowing in and they forget to cover for slow times. It's a never-ending cycle, and it's time to break it. You should have a pretty good idea of what sales look like over time. If you don't, then you need to sit down and determine What are the key factors driving sales? It might be the number of proposals you've generated. Every business has their own indicators that predict future sales and dollars coming in. Maybe for you, it's website traffic or some other factor. Determine what factors drive your sales and what you can do to measure and control them. Weekly, you should be looking at these and comparing them to the baseline of what you need. For example, if you need to send 10 proposals a week and you only did 5 this week, you know you need to figure out how to generate 15 next week to make up for it. But here's the bigger question. What's the step before the proposal, and what metric can you measure to ensure that you're able to send 10 proposals out every week? Sales is what's going to move money into your account. So make sure your sales system is a well-oiled machine. If you're not paying attention to accounts receivable, in other words, what your customers owe you, that may be one step of the process that's causing you to have unpredictable cash flow. Go back and check out the previous episode on accounts receivable to get tips on this. All of these processes need to be systematic, and you don't need to be the one doing them. But you need to be the one who's verifying that it's getting done on a regular basis. So knowing how many days out your money is, and if people are behind in paying you, is one key metric to pay attention to. A lot of what we're talking about today is the big picture of your business. And this is what results in cash flow variability. Some of these factors are in our control. Some aren't. For example, we can't expect to mow in December in places where the grass doesn't grow. The key is knowing what is it that you can control and what can't you control. And then being very intentional in focusing on the metrics that you can control. By intentionally setting aside money into a rainy day fund, we can weather the slower months, which means less stress, and you can sleep at night knowing that your bills are covered. So for this week, have your accountant or bookkeeper tell you what your fixed monthly costs are. Have them come up with your variable costs as a percentage of sales. And now you have the formula to decide the excess to set aside. It's fixed costs plus, and it's sales times the variable cost percentage, and you add that to the fixed costs. Everything above that amount can be set aside for a rainy day. Your bookkeeper can tell you this number every month, and you can ensure the money is moved into the account or just instruct them to do it, however your systems are set up. Remember, cash flow is what keeps your business moving, and when it's flowing into your business, it's smart to save some for the rainy day because rainy days always come. If you're struggling with something, please just email me. It's questions@Profit Answer Man. I'm happy to answer it for you. I do read every email. If you want to learn about living the life of your dreams, check out my other podcast, Richer Soul. Let's close out with the mantra, revenue is vanity, profit is sanity, and cash is king. Let's thrive and grow. Have a profitable week.